Okay. Well, good morning, everyone, on this lovely morning. You know, it's not as chilly or as cold as I thought it might be. And the sun is shining, and I'm happy to be here. And all is well. Love is my decision. It's up to me to give up my heart. Love is my decision. No one else can tell me to start. But once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. So love is my decision right here and now. Love is my decision. It's up to me to stand on that bridge. Love is my decision. No one else can make me forgive. But once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. 'Cause love is my decision right here and now. Love is my decision. It's up to me to dance down that road. Love is my decision. No one else can lighten my load. But once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. 'Cause love is my decision right here and now. My decision right here and now.
Thank you, Joe. What a beautiful way to open up this service. Boy, such a sweet song. So, we have a quote from the Hopi tribe. All dreams spin out from the same web. I know, isn't that great? I love that. So welcome to Unity of Hagerstown. We're so happy to see each and every one of you. And for those joining us virtually, we're certainly delighted that you can do so, and we welcome you as well. Let's take a moment as we move into our opening prayer, settling in, going within, focusing on our heart space, and just knowing that we are love. At our very essence, this is who we are. And so today, and right in this moment, we decide to be that love in action, in thought, in speech. And we give thanks for this power of love residing within us that we can activate and manifest in our lives. We give thanks for this community and the ability to come together in joy, in laughter, in growing our understanding of who we are as an expression of spirit and how we are connected to not only each other, but all of creation. And for this and so much more, we say thank you. Amen. And now, if you will join me in our mission statement. Together, Unity of Hagerstown, a welcoming community, embraces spiritual awakening through affirmative prayer and meditation, creating a positive path of abundant living for all. And now we have the reading of the Daily Word with Amy Vanette. And as she makes her way up here, if you don't already get the Daily Word, I invite you to go to unity.org and order it.
Good morning, everyone. Today is Sunday, November 26th, and our word today is grace. As an expression of God, I need not ever worry about earning God's approval or favor. Grace is my assurance that I am one with God and heir to all God is. I know oneness during times of deep spiritual communication, understanding that I am fully human and fully divine. Through this awareness, my experience of grace deepens. I understand grace is more than a gift from God and begin to see it as an aspect of my own divine inheritance. Grace is not a blessing I need hope for. It is the blessing I can count on. It is trusting I will have what I need when I need it, that my support will come to me even from the most unlikely channels. Grace is knowing that God is with me and within me throughout my life. For by the grace you have been saved through faith, and this is not your own doing, it is the gift of God, from Ephesians chapter 2, verse 8. And our statement for today, please join me, it's up on the board. I trust grace is my constant blessing. Think on that for a moment. And again, I trust grace is my constant blessing.
Thank you, Amy. And now we have another song with Joe.
Watching the bell thing here. So I've been very graced all throughout my life with a whole variety of things. And I'm graced now with this congregation that welcomes me and listens to me and is kind to me. So I'm just grateful for all of that. In this moment, in this place, I remember who I am, letting fear and worry fall away from me. I open my eyes and see there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. When I lose myself, when it seems I've lost my way, when I go inside and quiet my mind, I can hear Spirit gently say, there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only, yes, there's only love.
Thank you. Yes. Joe, I really appreciate how you make these songs your own. I really do. It's wonderful. It's lovely. So we have a time now set aside. You know what to do. Greet your neighbor, handshake, howdy, or a hug. And then I'll ring the bell and we'll get started with the service. And while everybody's milling about, greeting their neighbors, I definitely want to say hello to our Facebook friends, our YouTube friends, however you're watching this service. And know that we love you, we appreciate you so much. If you are willing to, please put down something in the comments. I'm looking at the camera. Put some, so that we know who you are and we can hold you in prayer with this community. Thank you so much, my friends. Okay. Okay, I think it's time to get back to our seats. Wow. I didn't ring the bell. I didn't have to. I didn't have to ring the bell. Thank you so much. I love that. I love that. So we're going to continue on in today's lesson on gratitude, because, one Sunday is just not enough. It's such a great topic. But just to recap, I wanted to share a couple of slides from last week. Gratitude is the perception that all is well. No matter what's facing you on the outer, all is well within. That peace that passes understanding is ours. And then we know that there are many benefits to gratitude, but one that Eric Butterworth reminds us is continued sense of well-being or prosperity. Butterworth says, your thanksgiving is more than a response to what is happening around you or to you. It is a celebration of the truth, which becomes an assurance of a continuity of blessings leading toward prosperity for you. Yes, we get that word right. So back in the 4th century CE, there were a group of mystics called the Desert Fathers, Amas, and I don't know, whatever, the mothers and fathers of the desert, Christian mystics who lived in Egypt. And Macarius was one of them, a very holy man. One day, one of the brothers brought a bunch of grapes to Macarius, who started thinking about another brother who was not doing so well. So he took the bunch of grapes to his other brother. And that brother was so grateful to have the grapes, but then he started thinking of someone else and took the grapes to that brother. And those grapes went from person to person all throughout the desert until they finally came back to the one who had given it to Macarius to begin with. By that time, I'm pretty sure they were raisins, but that's okay. So today we're going to look at the connection between gratitude, generosity, and grace. And as we know, research has shown that practicing gratitude makes you healthier and happier. It reduces stress. It lowers risk for mental health issues. It even improves our immune system. Dr. Judith Moskowitz, a psychologist of Northwestern University, has studied the benefits of keeping a gratitude journal and found out that it helps people to cope with stress and improve their overall mental and physical health. She says that by practicing a gratitude journal, it helps you cope better with whatever may be in your life at the time. It can help you just be all the way healthier and happier all around. So her team has been testing and researching this on people who've had illnesses like advanced cancer, diabetes, HIV, depression, and they've also tested the caregivers as well with the same results. Research has shown that gratitude leads to generosity. Moskowitz tells us, in a sense, gratitude seems to prepare the brain for generosity. Perhaps this is why researchers have observed grateful people give more. So our brains actually create like a gratitude generosity loop. We're thankful for the generosity shown to us and in turn become more generous. So we're generous in word, generous in action, in deed, in thought. So you could say generosity is gratitude in action. Studies involving MRIs done have shown that the reward centers in the brain for generosity and gratitude are the same. Tara Brock writes, gratitude is like breathing in, letting ourselves be touched by the goodness in others and in our world. Generosity is like breathing out, sensing our mutual belonging and offering our care. So when we are healthy and whole, breathing in and breathing out are natural functions, but we may not be used to living that life of gratitude and generosity. And it may be that there's a fear that's blocking our way, or we become that feeling of entitlement, that someone owes me something. When we have that entitlement feeling, we can't get to gratitude. Einstein, I think I mentioned last week, says that each one of us has to decide whether the universe is hostile or friendly. And how we decide that, I'm sorry, let me get my thoughts collected. If we see the universe as hostile, then that is a block. We become more defensive. We become protective of our hearts. We essentially put a wall up, and we also notice more flaws. Our level of happiness generally depends on how we view life. If we see the universe as friendly and supportive, then we're more likely to be happy. And when we see it as hostile, our limbic survival brain kicks in, especially when we're stressed, and those filters of fear come into place. So we essentially get tunnel vision. We have more complaints about life. But if we see the world and life in general as friendly, then our more recently evolved brain, the frontal cortex, which is designed for social behavior, for compassion, for kindness, that lights up. So the question really is, how do we keep growing this perception that all is well so that we can live with the kindness and compassion that I believe we all want to, so that we might respond in a naturally generous way? Because generosity comes from seeing the goodness and feeling our connection, our oneness. This leads us to wanting to give. When we are stressed and our perception narrows, we just don't see the goodness around us. If we're feeling mistrustful or judgmental, then we can bring back into mind, take a breath and bring back into mind that all is well as we go within and connect with our center. So everyone has the potential to grow into this life of gratitude and generosity. We have everything we need to do so within us. You have the capacity to be the love that you want to be in this world. So one of the pathways to cultivate gratitude and generosity is to be intentional, to set the intent to do so. A recent study of fourth graders showed this actually. Half of the fourth graders were told that they could go anywhere they wanted to for the day. The museum, the zoo, the movies, go shopping, whatever they wanted to do. And the other half were told that they had to help somebody for the entire day. Whether it was their parents with chores, their grandparents with gardening, their neighbor, whatever it was, they had to help somebody. And their behavior and attitudes were measured before the day began and after the day ended, after they helped. And there's probably no surprise that those who helped another felt better about themselves. And the key here is that it was intentional, being intentional with our time, our talents, our treasure. Being generous actively increases our happiness level. The more happy, the more grateful. The more grateful, the more generous. These traits go together. In the Hebrew scriptures, you probably remember the story about David. And at one point, he was running from Saul, who was the ruler of the land. He and his men went to the wilderness of Paran, and while they were there, they were basically living off the land, but they came upon the household of a rich man. He had men working in the fields, and they asked him, Nabal was his name, for food. They asked him for food. And Nabal, whose name literally means the fool, said no. Now, Nabal knew that when David's men was there, he was protecting Nabal's men and his property. So Abigail, Nabal's wife, knew this as well. She gathered together 200 loaves of bread, figs and wine and grain, and took them to David herself, just to show her appreciation of her husband's men being guarded, and also asking forgiveness for her husband's behavior. She did this without telling her husband. When she got home, Nabal was feasting, and the scripture said he was very drunk. That's exactly what it says. I was quoting there. In the morning, Abigail, Nabal's wife, told her husband what she had done, and he became like a stone and died. Yeah, it's a crazy story, right? When David heard about this, he sent for Abigail and began wooing her and ended up marrying her. So Abigail's gratitude and generosity shine in this story, looking at it metaphysically, which is what we like to do here at Unity, in which each character is a state of consciousness, or symbolizes a state of consciousness within us. Nabal is that part of us that is somewhat stingy or uncharitable, a thought that is uncaring, left in the wilderness of confused thinking. Abigail is the joy in giving, the joy found in gratitude. And David symbolizes divine love in our consciousness. When we have opportunities to be grateful or generous, and an uncaring thought bubbles up, because sometimes it does, we can allow that feel-good remembrance of when we were generous or grateful to come in and replace that uncaring thought. We can allow that thought to bubble up and just let it go on its way. We don't have to follow it. It's just a thought. By being grateful and generous, we align our joy with love, and we reap the rewards. While Nabal, that foolish side of us, quiets down, it dies off. So this aligning generosity, gratitude with love leads to graciousness, a certain graciousness towards ourselves, towards others, towards life. The word gratitude is derived in the Latin from gratia. I'm not sure I've got the pronunciation right. However, it's this word that means grace or graciousness. Grace, gratitude, and generosity are interconnected. You know, we say grace before a meal when we give thanks. When we are generous, we are said to be gracious. Margot Ford St. Augustine said, "What is grace? I think I know until you ask me." When you ask me, I don't know. If we asked a dozen people their definition for grace, we'd probably get 12 different things, including, I don't know. And perhaps we were raised in a faith tradition in which we were taught that we had to earn God's grace by certain belief or a certain behavior. And if we didn't follow that pattern, that grace was withheld from us. Grace was like earning points with God. Enough points could get you into heaven. Monk and mystic Thomas Merton tells us, though, grace is not a strange magic substance which is subtly filtered into our souls to act as a kind of spiritual penicillin. Grace is unity, oneness within ourselves, oneness with God. Victor Daly, the Australian poet, was being cared for at a Catholic hospital as he was dying, and one of his last acts was to thank the nurses for their kindness to him. "Don't thank us," the nurses said. "Thank the grace of God." And very perceptively, Daly said, "But aren't you the grace of God?" When we express that graciousness with another or even with ourselves, when we're compassionate with ourselves, when we express gratitude and generosity, we are living in awareness of our oneness. We are living in awareness that all is well, that life is good. Carolyn Mace tells us grace is a power that comes in and transforms a moment into something better. We're going to move into a time of meditation. This will be a gratitude meditation, and then followed by a few moments of silence. So I invite you to get comfortable, adjust your position as needed. Know that this is a safe, quiet place. And know that I'll keep track of time. Allow yourself to feel supported by the chair. And keep your back and neck and head straight if possible. And allow your eyes to gently close. Taking a slow, deep breath to bring yourself to this present moment and to begin feeling more peaceful and more centered. Now take a moment to scan your body mentally for any areas where there is tightness or tension, and breathe your breath into that area. As you exhale, let tension release. Now notice if any worries or fear or anger or irritation or judgment are entering into your thoughts. And just breathe into those emotions, noting them and allowing them to flow out as you breathe out. Another breath in into any uncomfortable emotions, and then breathing out, releasing them. Now, any thoughts of memories or plans, anything other than being here, breathing, just notice those thoughts as you breathe into them and as you breathe out. Allow the thoughts to flow out with the breath. Now that our bodies, our emotions and thoughts are a little clearer, maybe a little bit more spacious and open, let's recall that if you're listening to my voice, listening to the music or the sounds in this room, you already have some pretty marvelous gifts. Some gifts to be thankful for. The gift of life itself. Someone gave birth to you. Someone fed you as an infant. Someone taught you to speak and to understand. The gift of hearing, so you can hear them and learn. Whether you're hearing the song of a bird, the notes of a band, the song of Joe singing his songs, or just the hearing the sound of your own breath flowing in and out. And you also have the gift of a heartbeat, steady, regular, moment after moment, pumping that life-giving blood to all your physical being. Now let's think for a moment of all the things that we have today that make our life easier and more comfortable. We can flip a switch and a light appears. We can turn a tap and clean, drinkable water flows. We adjust a thermostat and a room grows warmer or cooler. We have a roof to keep us dry when it rains, walls to keep out the cold wind, windows to let in the light, and screens to keep out insects. Most of us have a vehicle that we can get into that takes us wherever we want to go. And we have access to machines that wash our clothes, and we have clothes to wear, and places to store them. There are machines that store our food at just the right temperature and help us cook it without us having to gather wood. We have indoor plumbing. We have public libraries that have thousands upon thousands of books free for anyone to borrow and read. And we have public schools that can teach us to read and write. Skills that were available to only a few just 100 years ago. Now take a moment to reflect on all the thousands of people who have worked hard, some without knowing you at all, to make your life easier or more pleasant. Those who plant and grow and harvest your food, or who transport that food to market. The team of people who make the roads and railways so that it's easier to transport the food. And another team who maintain the vehicles who transport the food. The drivers, the loaders, the unloaders. Those who take time to design the stores, to build the stores, to stock the shelves. Let us be grateful for the Postal Service, those who sort our mail and those who deliver it. And we can be grateful for those who maintain the server so that we can send email and receive email. Those who design operations and systems for gathering and sorting and disposing of trash and recycling. Those who play sports or create art or music or poems or plays to entertain and uplift us. Most of these are people we may have never met. Now consider the people and the animals that you know who enrich your life. Those who smile at you and cheer you on. The family, friends, and acquaintances, colleagues, and peers. Those ancestors who worked so you could live so well. Those friends who support you when you need a shoulder or a hand. Now take a moment to add to all of this gratitude anything that comes to mind. Your own reasons for feeling grateful in this moment. There is so much to feel grateful for. Gratitude fills our hearts and minds and uplifts our spirit. And as we close this meditation, I invite you to join Joe as he sings our next song.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
Thank you, Joe. I invite you to join with me in our offertory prayer. Together, we affirm infinite abundance and prosperity continuously flowing into and within this ministry through spirit and expressing through infinite channels. And we affirm the wisdom, understanding, and discernment in all matters as Spirit guides us along our path. Amen. Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay. Sometimes the timing. So this is a song I wrote many years ago, and it's also about being grateful for what we have. You wake up in the morning, same thoughts on your mind. Wait a minute now. I got that wrong. Sorry, I got on the wrong key. Wake up in the morning, same thoughts on your mind. You ride to work and think about how it takes up all your time. The kids at school, the family, the grocery store, you fill your cart and somehow it gets done. At the end of the day, when you go to bed and I wonder, where has it gone? You want to find your truth. It's there in your heart. You want to know your truth. It's there in your heart. You want to open your mind and let in the light. It's there in your heart. Just let it go and know your truth. Little things on your mind every day don't go away now. You try to force yourself to be what you think you ought to be now. But there you are in this place. It's not far. It's waiting, oh, waiting for you. You want to find your truth. It's there in your heart. You want to know your truth. It's there in your heart. You want to open your mind and let in the light. It's there in your heart. Just let it go and know your truth. Breathe in grace, and you will find the place. Make it your home and know your peace. Breathe in grace, and you will know the place. Make it your home and know your peace. You want to find your truth. It's there in your heart. You want to know your truth. It's there in your heart. You want to open your mind and let in the light. It's there in your heart. Just let it go and know your truth. Know your truth.
Yes, beautiful, Joe. Thank you, thank you. So we do have a few announcements today. Our winter celebration and dance is this coming Saturday, December 2nd, 1 p.m., and it's for anybody. You don't need any dance skills whatsoever. Candace will provide the easy, simple-to-follow choreography, and every time I've gone to one of her workshops, I have felt so good. It's like, I learned to dance. How did that happen? And then we have the sound bath on Wednesday the 6th, and that's at 7 p.m. On the 10th, we have our volunteer appreciation reception. So that will be immediately after the service. So if you volunteered over the course of the past year, 2023, then you are invited to this reception. And on the 13th, we have our Blue Christmas service. On the 20th, we have our winter solstice. That's not up there, but that's happening too in December. We also have some volunteer opportunities for 2024. See me after the service if you are interested in volunteering, learning more about prayer chaplaincy, running the AV equipment. There are a few other things as well. So, and if you, actually, I don't need to say anything about Zion because the sign-up sheet was pretty well filled out. So thank you all for that. And then we have a special announcement with Paula regarding Holly Place.
Good morning, everybody. So, I'm not standing here.
Can you use the microphone so they can hear you?
Good morning. So, I'm not standing here. This is Debbie Wolf and Ann Baker. Okay, and those are the two women who work so hard for our annual giving to Holly Place, our stocking stuffers. So I am here to offer you this opportunity. We have two different sign-up sheets. One sign-up sheet is the wish list for the 15 individuals who live at Holly Place. And if you'd like to sign up for that, that's here. There's also another list which is for other little stocking stuffers, things like sugar-free chocolate, animal crackers, cheese crackers, little other things. Amy, I'm going to jump on you for a second. Do you know of other things that might be needed for that? Since Amy is on the board at Holly Place. Okay, I take that back. So if everybody heard that, it would be little toiletry items and mints and gum and things like that. So I am going to have the list here. I'll leave it up here because sometimes when we start passing it around, it gets lost. The key for this is the items need to be back here by December the 10th. So that's just 2 weeks. Okay? Thanks.
Thank you, Paula. Much appreciate that. And all those who help out Holly Place. And if you brought food in for Holly Place today, Paula will be picking that up for Ann. So, okay, at this time we're going to say goodbye to our virtual friends. Glad that you could join us today. Never doubt that we love you and appreciate who you are. We give thanks for you and your support of this community.